Welcome to another session of the Gooner Booth. We've had some news today. I'll hand over to Wayne to go through the details.
Yeah, good evening, Tone. Yeah, we've just got some news. This sent my Twitter feed absolutely crazy. As you can imagine, not a lot of people are happy about it. What it is, apparently, obviously, it's not a new contract in the terms of the length, but apparently, someone's put on there whether we believe that or not that he's gone up to 220K a week now. Again, this is just rumours, Tone. But again, he's got a pay rise over his new deal. Some people were saying, obviously, was one of the best attacking signings in terms of the value of it. He's been clutch for us over the years. Last year, I'd say he wasn't fantastic. And obviously, you think to yourself, well, if you've got Eze there, that's a clear upgrade on in terms of the fact because you can look at Trossard and say he's not exactly an out and out winger. This just proves to me, Tone, that obviously, you know, I mean, first, before I get onto my point, the timing again, Eze's about to sign for Tottenham, and we get this, and it's going to send fans. And like I've just read up, someone's just said that it's going to send Twitter in meltdown with Isaac. He's going to sign, isn't he, for Liverpool at some point? It's going to blow. They're
Yeah.
going to blow the top. Yeah. So just another one as well. Someone was saying was that it's looking likely to be Tim Lewis, who's he's a lawyer he's a lawyer at the club. But he's one of the well, he used to be a lawyer, sorry, but he's involved in the sporting and transfers and sporting decisions, should I say? And yeah, it's just it's one of them things, matey, that I think. Sorry about that. I'm getting messages as I talk. That they're just being, for me, too cautious. And I'm gonna wrap it up and send it your way and your thoughts, Stone. But I'd just like to say, before I forget to say it, that if this is it, and you may have a few, he's signed a nil deal, Saka potentially, and Saliba, as I said to you in the previous video. This is now, if it is it, it's Arteta's team, and it's whatever happens, if he doesn't win anything, then the fans are going to go absolutely ballistic. Where I am not on Arteta out, you guys know, I'm very much an Arteta in. I'm on his side, but I think this was an opportunity to upgrade that left hand side, and it needed it. Everyone could see that, like you said the other day, Erdegaard, if he has a bad game, you could have had Eze in there. But everyone's saying, oh, you've got Ethan, you've got Max. But these kids, Ethan's 18, Max Dalman is 15, Tone.
Yeah.
Bringing in Eze, 3 years, 4 years, get these boys still playing in and around the team. He's not going to block their pathway, in my opinion. But yeah, I've got it off my chest. I'm going to pass over to you and please let us know what you think, my friend. Went on a bit longer, sorry.
No, all good. My thoughts on it are, I said yesterday that I wouldn't have minded Trossard staying at the club. He's done really well. He's got a good record. He was probably our better left winger last year
No, I agree with that.
over
Yeah,
Martinelli. A good finisher as well. He's one of the best finishers at the
yeah
club, right?
you can't
So
argue that. No.
I find it strange because he was 1 minute, we was looking to sell him, and then now all of a sudden he signed a new contract. That tells me that no further recruitments are coming in. I reckon they've looked at it and gone, we can't bring in a left winger, so we're going to have to look at what we got. As Arteta says, internal solutions.
Mm.
So they've now Trossard down to a use extension. Uh, Not good, right? Because again, the focus now, Arsenal supporters will be looking at it and going, okay, well, why do we blow £52 million on Madueke, right? And it's going to come down to the fact of, when we signed him, a lot of us said, okay, fine, but we still want a marquee left winger coming through the door. We don't want this to be our left winger. I know that it's a backup for Saka. Obviously he started on he's obviously coming as a sub, but he's coming on the left wing, right? So everyone's gone, okay, so he's going to be deployed on left wing. Um, Problem we're going to have now is we've had we've picked. It's going to be seen that we've picked Madueke over someone like Aneze or Rodrigo because that money's gone on Madueke. So when you look at it that way, you know, there's probably a bit of a mistake made there in my eyes because I don't think he's that, that upgrade on Martinelli. You know, um, I know he's supposed to be a replacement for Saka. I haven't seen it yet. I've not seen him come on for Saka, so I can't call him a replacement for Saka. Um, Look, Trossard would do a job for us this season. On he's a good he's a good sub. He's proven that. He can come off the bench and nick a goal in games. So it's fine. I just worry now that we're still going to be short again going into this season. Um, so I think that selling of our players has been I was just reading that our our most expensive sale was Oxlade Chamberlain back in 2017 for 35 million. I mean, what's going on? Do we not know how to sell players? So you brought Berta in. Maybe Berta needs to. I mean, he's got a good record of selling players. He sold Antoine Griezmann for 100 million
Mm.
to Barcelona when he was the director there. So hopefully you can get some sales in. But if you look at the sales so far, we've made absolutely peanuts. I think it was 6.8 million in
Mm.
revenue sales. That was that Marquinhos and Tavares. So but yeah, a little bit worrying that we can't sell, and I understand that we have to sell to buy more players. But yeah, I can see what they've probably done is they've probably looked at the situation and gone, look, we're not going to send anyone and make that sort of money. Um, so let's tie Trossard down to another year. That's what I think's happened behind the scenes. Look, it could be it. Could it be that Martinelli is going to be um, sold?
Mm.
You just don't know.
Mm.
You just don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, what do you think it means, Wayne?
Yeah, on your note with Martinelli, matey, I've just put I wanted to remind myself to say to you as well. There's a few fans on my Twitter feed, maybe hopeful ones. Rodrigo has been benched again tonight. Now, obviously, we've been linked with him all summer. Um, and my faults have already said so. I won't repeat myself, but you think to yourself now with Trossard signing, like you said, you can't argue that one of the decision makers, and as someone said, we've got way too many lawyers in the decision making department in this football club as opposed to sporting people. Berta has to be commended for the deals he's done. In terms of selling, I mean, it's been poor. Um, I've heard another one saying that Sinchenko might stay because Arteta wants him as experience. This tells me obviously that Arteta has gone. I want Trossard to stay. Now, as you said, I have not got one jot of a problem with Trossard. My view is that obviously I just feel we needed that something different. What I wanted to point before I again forget what I was going to say. We so what is it? So we bought like a goalkeeper, centre half, two central midfielders. When we went into this window, the statement was we want to get a left winger and a striker. Now they bought in Madueke. They bought the striker in. We're happy with that. Madueke, I rate him highly. I do think he's got room to grow, but it just sits there and you go to yourself, I'm not trying to sound ungrateful. We're not ungrateful here. We've had, it's been a good summer in terms of
Yeah,
bringing in, but was Madueke that left winger tone? And that's where I'm thinking. And the clubs, obviously, Pete, you can't help but not start to think that these links are being fed somewhere. People are saying, "Oh, is it fed by the club?" You're like, you've just spent 50 million on Madueke. Are they really going to go for a Rodrigo? Are they really going to go for an Eze? There's no sales. Someone said it's almost been a month since we signed Gyökeres, which I think is coming close.
yeah,
And that's it. And there's not been any sales. So to me, Tone, I just think it means, for me, it just looks dumb.
yeah. I think the
I
only
can't, I
way,
can't hide from there, mate. I
uh,
can't. Who
the,
can?
the only way I think we sign someone is a loan deal. And if City pull out the race for Rodrigo in our hopes, We could put a cheeky loan request in. I think that's the only way we get Rodrigo in the door.
Mm.
Uh, Lookman, I think, still being linked with Arsenal, but then I read today's being linked with Tottenham, a few other
Yeah,
clubs around Europe because
yeah.
is it AC Milan or is it AC Milan? Inter Milan joined him. I
Yeah,
can't
what it
remember.
is, mate. Yeah, he's Inter Milan, and
That's
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
fell through apparently. It's
yeah.
fell through. They've pulled out. They don't want to pay the asking price. So um, he's back on the market. But you know, I can. That's another player I can see the likes of Tottenham or someone signing.
Mm.
Yeah, I, it it's starting to make me think. Yeah, Joe, what positives? Let's look at the positives, right? Because
Well,
we're
we'll
making
change
this
the
today.
tune. Yeah, let's try and
Let's
get
look at
some
some
positives
positives,
out of
right? We've got we've got a lot of our recruitment done in the summer, right? We've got Jokeris in during pre-season. That's
it.
what
Yeah.
you want. You don't want to sign him now. Yes, he's still embedding himself in because he didn't do a lot of pre-season training, and you can see that his fitness isn't quite there yet. But I think when his fitness is there, he's going to be a good player for us.
Mm.
The positives there. Look, we got our players in nice and early. That's unlike Arsenal, really. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, mate.
look,
Yeah.
I'll take a. We'd all want a left winger. We all, again, you know, the only problem that we've got as Arsenal supporters, again, we're asking questions, right?
Mm.
And I hope and pray that for Arteta's sake that we don't fall short again. Because we fall short
Mm.
again, there's another reason to go. Well, okay, well, why didn't you bring in a left winger? Eze
Yeah.
was sitting there, Rodrigo was there. You brought in Madueke. Well, I hope he does well this season because I think he needs to. He
Mm.
needs to because he's going to get a lot of stick. And that it's not his fault. That's the worst part about it. It's not his fault. He's just signed for a club, but we didn't want Madueke.
Mm.
It was a completely shock signing. I think a lot of people, when they see the links, me included, I
Yeah.
hope that's just a rumor that we're linked with Madueke for 52 million. And when it was confirmed, I wasn't, I wasn't excited. I wasn't like, oh, great. I mean, if we'd have bought in an Eze or Rodrigo, and then you sit there
Beforehand.
on deadline day and go, oh, Madueke, you think with Arsenal, go, oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a bad backup player. But the fact that he's taken up most of the budget, if 200 million was our budget, and you've used that on Madueke, and you're saying he's
Mm.
a backup, which he isn't, by the way, he's
Mm.
definitely going to be deployed on the left wing.
Yeah.
I, yeah, look, we've got a big squad this season. Let's just hope it's good enough.
Mm. Yeah, exactly, Tone. As I said to you, mate, I can't escape that hold. Because so when you go into the summer transfer, you got lots of people, and I think they were saying, oh, what annoys you, what annoys you though is obviously that you're getting these people saying, oh yeah, Arsenal want a left winger and a striker, and as you've just said, without stepping on it all over it, you're right. You know what Arsenal fan, what Arsenal fan would go right? Oh, Madueke. You're not going to get excited because you've been linked with Rodrigo. Eze is not exactly a left winger, but he's more than capable to cover all the positions up top. And you're like Madueke comes in. So I thought, all right, okay, what is that? Is he back up? Is he get that's all right? He's a good player. I like him, but I wasn't thinking right. Boom, that's the player I want.
Yeah,
As you've just said, and I totally agree. You can't argue with that. The sentiment you've just said. Bring your number one target in. Bring in your striker. And as you said, transfer deadline day or near to it, Arsenal put, it might have been cheaper, Tone. Unless there was someone in for Madueke, and in fairness, I didn't hear a thing. Sorry for the train there. But I didn't hear a thing. If Arsenal had gone and got an Eze, a Rodrigo, and Jokeres bedded in pre-season and gone and got Madueke, you'd get a lot of happy people now. Now people are they're fuming because they're like, well, you've, in all due respect for Madueke, you've dangled a golden carrot and you've given us a parsnip.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's,
yeah,
but, you know,
yeah,
pardon that, but you just what else can you explain it at? Like, you would everything was dangled in front of us, Tone. Isaac, we know, was never going to be a viable option at 100 odd million, 120, 30, 40, 50, whatever. We knew that. Sesko and Jokeres, I was happy with either one. I thought Jokeres, once he beds in, will bang. Madueke was nowhere near my thought process.
I don't
I
think it was
rated him. I rated
anyone's
him.
thought process. Yeah,
I rated him as a footballer, but it wasn't in my thought process to go, yeah, first, and yeah, you can't think anything other than Arsenal are shutting up shop, and it's going to be sales from now to the end of the season. End of the season, sorry, mate.
yeah.
Transfer window. Yeah, it.
Oh, do you know what? I'm quite gutted that Eze is going to Tottenham because I reckon a front three of him, Gyökeres, and Saka would
Mm,
have been pretty exciting because the problem that we've got is we're going to have low block games where we need something different, and he's not an out and out left winger, so maybe him drifting inside, or or
yeah,
even him sitting in the middle with Odegaard and being having two attacking midfielders to open up
mm,
defenses. It's an option. He would have been quite versatile. Um, yeah, look, we have to see what happens. The transfer window's still open, as people will
mm.
probably be telling me when I'm moaning about the fact that we're closing up the season with just signing Madueke as a winger when we all wanted that marquee left winger.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I don't think if I'm being honest, I don't think that we thought we wouldn't sell the players that we had. The
yeah.
players that we had as fringe players now. I think we thought we would have generated some cash for them, but I think that they've nailed down Trossard as a security blanket
Yeah.
purely because they've not got the valuations on players they would have hoped. But then that's because they're smashing out really high wages. But we haven't learned our lesson. If we put Trossard on 200 plus grand a week, then
So
where's his resale value? So
exactly, it's just a rumor, Tone. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise you, matey. And yeah, sorry to step on your point there, but
yeah,
I just wanted to add that again. We can reiterate that the reason we've not sold anyone, and people are also flagging it up on Twitter that Edu putting these players on silly wages. Someone said Lakonga's on like 50K.
yeah,
Are you going to get a decent transfer fee for him? He can't get anywhere near the thought process of Arteta anyway. He's surplus to requirements. 100 odd K for extra for Sinchenko. God knows what Vieira's on. You know, yeah, Tone. It's no, I'm not. As I say, we try to be a bit positive. I still think we've got a good shot, but this is now. If it is going to shut up shop, you're going with the same two left wingers that. Again, what we was asking for was that game changer, to unlock defenses because we had Martinelli, we had Trossard, Saka before he got injured, Havertz, and we struggled to break these teams down. We was asking for a maverick,
yeah,
and that's what I thought Eze. That's what I wanted Eze because I think that's what he is. That kind of pops up around the pitch, give him a free roll if you like, but he's starting in the formation as a left winger, but he's not really a left winger. We just wanted a maverick Tone, and you can be appreciative of what they've done, but we still, as I said, it's not the top of the list of any Arsenal fan. If you ask them at the start of this transfer window, that it will be Madueke. Gyökeres divided a lot of opinion, but
yeah,
bring in your marquee, you know, and if not, if you had Madueke, if it was just going to be a backup to Saka, you would have gone right. Gone to his representatives. Okay, look, we want to do a deal with you. Talk to Chelsea, do whatever. Do that in the background. Go get your marquee signing and striker. Getting Madueke now can only, to me, point to the fact that the club have decided who their left winger is.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, as I say, they're not bad players to have, but I just think, you had a player there that you could. Madueke can play. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of opportunities to own. You can still have that other upgrade. He sort of like was the replacement for Sterling, if you like.
Yeah.
And you know, we're still saying, look, one or the other. I mean, someone was saying, and I want to pass it on your thoughts before obviously we start to wrap it up. Um, and I sometimes have to agree. And again, we're not a Martinelli hate channel. We really ain't. That's not what we're here for.
No,
But
but
I thought
he hasn't been
Trossard,
playing well.
Trossard was last year was a better option.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, obviously, if that am I wrong in that assumption, mate? Or
No, I agree. yeah, I think we've put ourselves in a bit of a hole, really. I think we've
It's nothing against
spent a
these,
lot of
obviously him
money.
signing Tone.
Yeah,
Um, what it is that, like you've just alluded to. All right, does that mean in the hope is Martinelli going? Um, I just think, like you said, it is a comfort blanket. That
yeah,
kind of thing. All right, we can't ship the players. We can't get Rodrigo in. Do you think that it's going to be a more of a desperation if we kind of get to the transfer window and we get linked with Lookman and we're like, all right, because someone alluded to it being a shiny new toy syndrome. It's not so much that I have to disagree with that statement. It's not that. It's that sometimes you could see that it's not quite there on that left hand side. You
yeah.
know,
We're a mess on the left. You know,
yeah,
every Arsenal, when Gyökeres offers something different going forward through the middle,
it
right? You
does.
can see that Old Trafford, he was putting himself about.
Mm,
The left wing, Martinelli was, running into. He wasn't doing a lot really, you know. Um, it'd be interesting to see against Leeds,
mm,
how we fare up. But I, you just know that bringing that left winger, we can go into the season, and I really thought we can challenge. I'm not saying I think we still will
yeah,
challenge, but if we fall short again at the end of the season, you're going to be questioning, going, why didn't we get a left winger in? That could have been that missing
mm,
piece. Yes, a striker was the missing piece as well.
mm,
We filled one missing piece, but the left. If we'd have gone into the season and signed the left winger and a striker, and maybe maybe three players, but if we'd have spent a lot of money on striker and a left winger, maybe we would have held our hands up and gone, Joe, what? The defense isn't a problem, right?
mm,
Midfield, right? We lost Partey, and your
mm,
Jorginho. We brought in replacements for that, with the like for like replacements. That plus a left wing and a striker, I think we would have been quite
mm,
happy with that and
yeah,
accepted that. But yeah, I think there's more questions than answers at the moment. Look, there's still more time in the window.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
maybe Trossard is going to be deployed another backup, and it's probably squad depth, which we haven't had in a while. So
yeah,
we'll leave that. Cool. We'll leave it at that.
yeah.
Arsenal fans, are you happy with Trossard signing the deal? Do you think that's us done? I'll leave your thoughts in the comments. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching the channel, and
Cheers
we
for
will see
watching,
you soon.
guys. Take care.
Take care.